Hi, I'm Alan Brady. You remember me from the Alan Brady Show?
Yes, if Alan needs any help.
Shut up, Mel.
Yes, sir. Shut up, Mel.
Shut up, Mel.
Yes, sir.
I had the best TV writers on my show. Rob Petrie, Sally Rogers,
Hey, I got it! Don't anybody move!
and Buddy Sorrell.
Whoa. Hey, you moved, I forgot it!
On the Dick Van Dyke Show here,
Alan, if you're...
Shut Up Mel, on Me TV.
Weeknights at 9:30, 8:30 Central on Me TV.
What's the matter with you?
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor here on this Tuesday morning. The focus is on business, a long-time business here in the city of Fresno. You'll recognize it immediately. The phone number here is 436-ME-TV. We're live on the showroom floor, Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6. Remember, hit option 11, turn down the sound. Back in just a moment. And today the focus, of course, is on business here on Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno. We hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. It was a long weekend and it was a lot of fun. Took some time off, but we're glad to be back here live. And we're on Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6. And if you want to call in the program, make sure hit option 11, but also make sure and turn down the sound on your television set. Otherwise, we won't be able to hear you. Anyway, today's focus point is on business, a business that has been around Fresno for the better part of what? Almost 60 years. Now, if you stop and think about it, Ventura TV has been here since 1951. The business I'm about to show you and talk to you about has been around since 1955. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yes, the one and only, the Elbow Room at Fig Garden Village. It's the bar and grill, and there is the outside patio there. This was taken on Sunday evening. This was the day before Memorial Day, of course, and it was jam-packed. This place opened in 1955, but for the last, 19 years or so, it's been at its current location at Fig Garden Village. Remember, the original location here in the city of Fresno was where the Limelight is now at Shaw and Palm. But look at that patio, it's packed right now. And for the better part of 19 years, the owner has been Mike Shirinian. He's been the sole owner the past 16 years. March of 1997 is when he came in here. You know, if you go out to the Elbow Room and you want to take part in the conversation and maybe have a drink or something like that in the outside patio area, you can also light up a cigar. It's actually a smoking area. Now remember, inside the restaurant you can't smoke. Anyway, they're going to go through a remodeling process later this year. Live in our studio right now is Mike Shirinian, the sole owner, the longtime owner of the Elbow Room. It is a landmark right here in the city of Fresno. It's been around so long, almost as long as me and almost as long as Ventura TV. Your phone calls are important here. The focus is on business. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11. Turn down the sound on your television so we can hear you, so you can hear us. We're back with our program with Mike Shirinian in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Stop and think about it. The Elbow Room's been around since 1955. That is a very, very long time, and I feel so old when I talk about that. Of course, Ventura TV has been here since 1951. That is also a long time. But I am pleased to introduce and have alongside me today on Connect with Me is Mike Shirinian, the sole owner. How are you, Mike?
I'm great, John. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
Been in your place 1,000,001 times.
Yes.
It's great. So this current location now, apparently it's worked out for you the last 19 years. It's great.
You know, I think it has, and it's really, I think, legitimized the Elbow Room because, you know, historically, when it first started at Palm and McKinley in 1955 and then moved to the corner of Palm and Shaw, moving into Fig Garden Village opened up just a diverse and very large clientele, big demographic shift. So it's been really good for us.
Let me ask you right off the bat here, and we'll kind of tie in Fig Garden Village into this whole process now. Of course, a few years ago, we went through this recession that we're still coming out of. How do you think the Elbow Room combined with Fig Garden Village has done financially during these tough economic times?
Well, like everybody, it was difficult, you know, going back 4 or 5 years. But I think Fig Garden Village as a shopping center is so well maintained. The owners of it really make sure that it's a jewel. They protect the asset, and I think people feel safe coming there. Our job and our goal and our mantra the last 5 years was we need to get better as a restaurant. So even though it's a very tough economic time, we weren't going to cut quality, we weren't cutting portions, we're not cutting service. We wanted to make sure that we kept our customer, not diminish the product or the service just because the economy was bad, and it certainly was bad.
Even if you had to lose a little bit of money, you were going to serve your customers as always.
No ifs, ands, or buts. In fact, we were going to get better, and I believe we're a much better restaurant now than we were even a year ago, but the process started several years ago in an effort to make sure that we gave you a reason to come out and spend your money.
Do you think Fig Garden Village kind of went down a little bit and is starting to come back now in recent times?
Well, I think like every business, you know, people just weren't out spending money. There was a lot of fear.
They were scared.
They were absolutely scared.
Yeah.
But so I think Fig Garden, not unlike River Park or any other center, you had businesses with diminished sales. But I think Fig Garden's always been a quality center.
Yeah, it's a major attraction. There's no question about it. And of course, your Elbow Room is a part of that. We've got a call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for calling in. What's your question?
Well, my question is, my name's Liz, and my daughter is getting married here in the next couple months. So I was wondering if there was catering available outside the restaurant for large events up to 250, 300.
That's a good question, and the answer is yes. The answer is yes. We have done off-premise catering for many, many years. We've done events as large as 2,000 people at Kaiser. We just recently did the St. Agnes Mercedes-Benz, very elegant, upscale dining event for their fundraiser for St. Agnes. So it could be a wedding where it was a buffet, it could be a full service sit down, but yes, we do that. But there's one caveat. We do the food quality just like you would get in the restaurant. So you would not associate it with, you know, banquet food, you would associate it with restaurant food. So that's a good question.
You would associate it with Elbow Room food.
Yes, because you know what, we have to have a happy customer at the catered event. We can't have somebody saying this isn't what I get.
So how much of that business is catering for you? You do a lot of that?
Well, we keep getting more and more calls, and we have done this for years, but we are now putting together a more concerted effort to develop the off-premise aspects of it.
Right. I'm going to turn you to the monitor here and take a look at your outside patio. This one here, Mike. Turn around this side. No problem. And this is a very obviously infamous area here. It was built, of course, specifically for an outdoor. It's almost like an indoor-outdoor type patio, right?
Yeah, it's usable 365 days of the year because it's got extensive heating capability. Everything is motorized above and on the perimeter, so if it's cool and inclement, you can totally button it up. Summertime, it totally motorizes open, and we have mister fans. So we would gain a 20-degree cooling advantage.
Is this the major attraction at the Elbow Room? Obviously the food is too, but I mean the patio is just so attractive.
Well, I think it's one of the really key elements to be able to have a truly attractive outdoor dining venue. The shopping center itself is beautiful.
And you've got a nice big bar there in the patio.
Yeah, so we have full service, you know, we have a world-class wine list, literally, full service bar, and lots of great food.
Yeah, that's great. So in this day and age, is it tough to be a business owner? Today is the focus on business. Is it tough if you, like, let's say I wanted to open an Elbow Room type restaurant in today's economic world, how tough would it be?
Well, I think like any business, whether it's the restaurant business or not, you need to have people that are tremendously clear on what it is they're doing.
The vision?
The vision has to be right. The quality has to be there. The price point, there has to be value. It's not necessarily if it's the cheapest. It needs to be, I'm giving you a reason to come out. So yeah, your vision needs to be clear, and then you better have top people to execute it. It's not for the faint of heart, and people are discriminating with their time. You know, I can never replace your time. So if you come in for an hour or two, we better make that a great dining experience. And part of that is having special service and great food.
Speaking of which, turn you to the monitor one more time. Speaking of table service, I actually was out there on Sunday evening and videotaping some people here sitting, a couple of folks here eating their dinner and simply enjoying it. Talk about your menu and what you serve, quality food.
You know, it always starts with quality, because you can't create something, I don't care how great the chef is, from poor products. So in our case, it starts with Harris Ranch all natural black Angus beef. That's a special beef program that only a select number of restaurants can use. Our seafood, we buy fish from that are sustainable.
That looks like salmon.
That's
there.
our salmon fillet. So we're big on fresh. We get a 6-day-a-week fish delivery. When it's gone each day, it's gone. And that's very comforting for the guest. So it starts with quality in all cases.
Right. And so what's the, you know, when you go into the elbow room and you look at the menu, what's the most popular item on there, would you say?
Well, the number one, the top selling item is the steak sandwich. And that has been the case since 1955. And that sells phenomenally well. But I think one of the great things about the elbow room, and I know I'm biased, but it's great casual dining. So whether you wanted to stop in for a great sandwich or a burger, or if you wanted to get a phenomenal cold water lobster from Australia, you could do that. You don't need to spend a lot of money, but you can come in and get great food. Nobody goes away hungry.
All right, you're going to go through a remodeling process here in the next couple of months. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. We're talking with Mike Sherinian, the owner of the Elbow Room. This truly is a landmark in the city of Fresno, much like Ventura TV. It's been around since the 50s. Mike has owned it outright for the last 16 years, has done a terrific job in keeping that thing not only afloat and popular and everything else, but he's flourishing and serving you, the customer. The number one priority is always the customer. We're back with your phone calls. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11. Turn down the sound on your TV. We're back in just a moment.
I love a joke.
Say, Lucy,
Yeah, Ricky?
a tramp came up to me in the street and he said he hadn't had a bite in weeks.
What'd you do, bite him? Opening butler joke, buddy. Come on.
The master says to the butler, Jeeves, did you put fresh water in the goldfish bowl? And the butler says, why? They didn't drink up what I gave them last night.
You know that ancient joke about the guy who saves his regiment, shoots the cook?
No. How does it go?
As mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, Mike Sherinian, the owner of the Elbow Room, is going to be going through a remodeling process here in the next couple of months. Of course, it's located at Fig Garden Village, very famous place here in the city of Fresno. You know, I came to Fresno in 1996, and the first thing out of someone's mouth is, have you been to the Elbow Room yet? And I said, no, I haven't. Where is it? What is that? It's a great restaurant here in town, and I went and tried their food, and it's just absolutely terrific. It was terrific then. It's just as terrific, if not better, now. So Mike Sherinian, this remodeling project is going to take place when?
Well, it is actually happening now from the standpoint of all the shop drawings and fabrication, and it's going to be an extensive process that starts the middle of June, so we're about 2 weeks away. It'll occur after business hours, so we will never be closed, but you'll be able to come in and see a wall at a time done. And it's exciting. It'll be a very extensive remodel.
Well, I want to take you inside the Elbow Room like nobody's seen it, right? We've all seen the Elbow Room, but this is the bar area inside. So this is this bar area here is going to look different?
It'll be very reminiscent of old San Francisco. It's going to be mahogany bar top, mahogany trim, all new booths, mahogany trim above the booths.
So this bar here will be removed?
Yeah,
this particular bar?
That's correct. It'll be, the physical layout will be the same, so it'll be very familiar, but we're going to be, like all the wood that's on those walls will be replaced with mahogany trimmed above the booths.
What about the mural there?
The mural stays. Those are our original regulars. So the ambiance will be the same. We're just going to take it up a notch so that it's more, a little bit nicer environment. It's worn out. We've been there a long time.
Talk about the mural just for a moment, if you would.
Well,
you got two of them.
Yeah, we have two murals, and these are a lot of great friends and customers. You'll see Jerry Tarkanian, Jim Sweeney right there in the middle. And these are just business people and friends that are in the community.
Right, right. And so when you talk about the Elbow Room, your number one priority is what?
It's always the customer's the purpose of your work, not an interruption of your work. And as we were chatting, that's central philosophically. I don't care if somebody can carry a plate or pour a drink.
What if you get a rude customer? Then what do you do?
You know what? A rude customer is an opportunity. For them to be your new friend.
How is that? How do you handle that situation?
Every situation. We don't have a lot of rude customers.
I know you don't, but occasionally you might get a nut or two in there. You never know.
You never know. But you know what? Sometimes it's more about they might be disappointed, and how can we fix something or something that they might expect.
Yeah.
Something a little bit different. How can what is it you'd like, and how can I fix it? That's how I approach it.
Yeah. How can we help you? How can we make this situation?
I want to make
better?
it my friend.
Right. So they'll come back.
Absolutely.
Right. But how can you be dissatisfied when you go into the Elbow Room? I don't get it, because the food is so great, the service is terrific.
Well, we always try, but if we haven't met somebody's expectation, I have everybody on the staff understanding to unconditionally fix it. There's not even a question whether I'm there or not. You just fix it. If I'm there, I will always go out to the table and we'll fix it 3 times over if there's an issue. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about how you were telling me before the show how you got involved in the Elbow Room. It took place years ago when you first moved. You were originally from San Francisco, right? You came to Fresno, what, 1970?
It was 74, I believe it was. Yeah.
And you met a guy by the name of Vito Guido?
Well, I did. I met Vito Guido by accident. Vito's technically the second owner of the Elbow Room, but he's acknowledged by longtime residents as the original owner because he was there for a long, long time. And I was invited to a charity golf tournament. And Vito, who's maybe 5 foot, if that, I got paired up with him. I did not know what the Elbow Room was. He was a delightful guy. We played golf in this charity golf tournament. Again, I'm like 19 years old. And then, 20 years later, ironically, I ended up buying into the restaurant that he really made famous. I feel like I'm carrying the torch. We're on a much, much bigger scale. But it's
well, now you've got social media, you've got everything under the sun to promote this place, something that Vito Guido didn't have back in his day.
Right, but you know what, even with social media, it still goes back to it's one customer at a time.
Right.
You're the center of the universe. When you come in, that's all that counts. And you can Facebook and have all the social media or advertising you want. You got to bring it across when the customer's there, and that's that word of mouth and that experience that can't be.
So
beat.
How did it happen that you ended up as owner? We have like a minute here, if you can.
I'll give you the short version. Okay. I was after having owned the Silver Dollar, I left, went to New York, did a restaurant.
You owned the Silver Dollar
from
restaurant here.
From 1980 to 83. I had worked for the original owners, the Sagatellians, who my friend Agnes, her family owns Valley Lavash and House. But I bought into the Elbow Room in 1980, sold out in 83, was gone for 6 years. I went back in 89, was the general manager, not an owner, for 5 years. Left there in 94 in April, and the Elbow Room coincidentally was available at that time.
Well, how does Vito Guido fit into this picture here?
Well, Vito, it's just coincidental that Vito, who did not own the Elbow Room when I bought it, I met him and played in that golf tournament.
When he owned it, you met him?
When he did own it, I met him.
Okay.
And I thought, isn't it ironic that I didn't even know what the Elbow Room was? I had no aspirations of being in the restaurant business at that time. And lo and behold, umpteen years later, I ended up buying the restaurant that he really made famous. And we've just tried to take it to another level, which I think we certainly have.
What an amazing story. I mean, so by chance you became the owner.
Totally.
You didn't plan it.
There was zero plans. In fact, it was I said no about 5 times to even wanting to discuss it, not because it wasn't a cool place. It was just I was tired from having been at the Silver Dollar. I kind of just wanted to rest for a while, maybe a month or so. But
you started working at the Silver Dollar at what age?
Oh gosh, I was 22. I was tending bar and going to graduate school.
Really?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's and master's degree from Fresno State, and thanks to the Silver Dollar, I worked there all through college.
Wow, that's amazing. Talking to Mike Shirinian, very well-educated young man. You're 25 now, right?
Yeah, relatively speaking.
Yeah, very well-educated, very successful business owner. It's not easy to run the business, especially in this day and age with all the regulations and the economy the way it is, but he's done it. A lot of other businesses are doing it as well here in California. Your phone calls are very important here. The focus is on business. 436-ME-TV is the telephone number, and hit option 11 and turn down the sound. Back in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Hey, what's the key to success in owning a business in this day and age, no matter what it is? What do you think it is, Mike? What's the key?
I think the key is having phenomenal staff that really cares, and secondly, you got to be in partnership, if you will, with your vendors.
Meaning what? Your vendors meaning the people that supply the food and beverage to you.
Correct, and I say that from the standpoint that their interest in you succeeding is paramount because that's how they make their money. So that will mean introduction and education to new products, sustainably farmed fish. It could be organic, all-natural beef and chicken products we use. It's a vendor that's really looking at a way for you to succeed by providing you with the best product and the best education so that when you offer it to your guest, the guest says, you know what, I appreciate that.
Having a relationship is one thing, but they need to provide you with a quality product that you can pass on to your customers. You have to trust your vendors.
Yeah. And that's why we use Craig Saladino's food service for that exact reason.
Another phone call here, Mike. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Yes, great to see Mike on the dais today, and I think it's terrific that he comes out and talks a little bit about Fresno history going all the way back to the 50s. I kind of fancy myself an enophile, and I was hoping that Mike would talk about the wine cellar a little bit, or maybe about Chef's Table, or maybe about the early history of Fig Garden Village and the French family.
What about the early history of Fig Garden Village? I'm really intrigued by that, and I love going to Fig Garden Village. Every time I go there, I leave feeling almost, like I want to go back.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting question because the Funch family originally developed it, and sadly, Alan, when they sold out the shopping center, I had the pleasure of negotiating my first lease with the Funches, and it is a unique, they call it a lifestyle shopping center. It feels right. Everybody else that's building a shopping center, not everybody, but so many people.
Everything there feels family owned.
Yeah.
You know, no other shopping center, even River Park, doesn't have that kind of Fig Garden feel to it. I don't know what it is.
It's got a lot of cachet, and it's part of that is the ambiance, the design. Part of it is the fact that you've got a great combination of locally owned businesses and the right national tenants. It just it makes you feel special when
it's a
you're
mix of locally owned and national
tenants. Yes, absolutely.
And that's a good mix, isn't it?
I think it's a great mix for us. And I've had opportunities to move elsewhere, and I wouldn't leave Fig Garden Village. I mean, I think that's the great spot for us. And our wine program, as Grady alluded to, we've won 12 Wine Spectator Awards, which is an international award. There's only about 3,000 in the world granted.
Amazing. Yeah. The Elbow Room is an amazing place. But let me ask you, if somebody wanted to start a restaurant in this day and age, very difficult, is it? And I've heard this, and educate me on this, and some of our viewers that are just totally in the dark about this. They say that the biggest hurdle that you have to climb is getting that liquor license. Is that true?
No, I don't see that as being accurate.
Was that true years ago, or no? Never was.
No, not in Fresno.
Okay.
No,
it's expensive though, right?
No,
or it can be.
It depends what city you're in and what county, because they will
Okay.
issue a certain number of licenses.
Okay.
So that's more. That would be more. That what you're saying is true, but that's more county to county pertinent.
Oh,
Fresno,
okay.
that's not the issue.
Right.
You know.
What's the issue here in Fresno County as far as the biggest hurdle to succeeding? It's like you said before, customer is number one.
Well, you've got to be capitalized properly. Location.
Right.
You need to be capitalized properly. You need to know what you need to know. I mean, you could have all the money in the world, and if you don't know your business, you're not going to succeed.
You're going to lose money.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Right.
I've prided myself on having great staff. I always want to hire people that know more than I do.
How did you learn about the restaurant business when you didn't know anything about it? You
Well,
went to work
actually
at the
not.
Silver.
I
but you
grew
went
up
to-
in it.
But you went to work at the Silver Dollar not really knowing much.
Yeah, well,
right?
well, actually, my dad was in business
Okay.
for 30 years. So, I mean, I was around it as a child.
So you knew.
Probably more than I realized, but I had great training by the Sagatellian family, and I worked for my father briefly in San Francisco also.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was lucky to have that, somebody telling me how to think, here's why we're doing it, here's what you need to do.
All that stuff sunk in.
Well,
Yeah.
those things have transcended time. In other words, the things I learned 35 years ago, today I use them because they're founding principles of how I guide our business.
And they work.
They absolutely work, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Yeah.
Quickly,
Yeah.
in 10 seconds, what brought you to Fresno?
You know what? I came here to go to school, and I had
Fresno State
to go to Fresno State, and that was the reason. Yeah.
I want to run this video of the kitchen before we run out
Sure.
of time, because we only got about 3 minutes here. Okay, cooking up some steaks, and you talked about where you get your beef.
Yeah, special product. They only break about 200 head of cattle a day, and it's an all-natural Black Angus product by Harris Ranch. You cannot buy it in any store.
Gosh, that looks good.
Oh,
I want to taste
phenomenal.
that right now.
Well, there are a lot of expensive steakhouses that you know of that are very, very, very expensive, and the cattle that we use, it is every bit as good. Only you're not paying those kind of prices.
Right. Your kitchen, noticeably to me, was as clean as a whistle. I think I could have eaten off the floor in there.
Yeah.
You keep it extremely clean.
We do. 7 days a week. We clean it at the end of the night. We clean it before lunch, and we clean it late afternoon. So it's a constant process.
Doing some onion rings right there. And what else can you tell us about what goes on back there? I think we're going to see the chef back there pull out a very nice prime rib as that steak is cooking on the grill right there. Now, what cook is that? Who is that?
I got to see the face.
Can you tell who that is?
Yeah, that's Vincente.
Oh, okay.
There he is. He's working right now, actually.
Yeah, putting the gloves on.
He's got the gloves on, and he'll pull out the prime rib, and that's what they call a 2-inch lip-on. So this is a special holding oven, and you can see how beautifully pink that is there.
Boy, that looks good. It really looks good.
So we cook it fresh right before lunch. When it's gone, it's gone. If you order a French dip at the restaurant, that's exactly what you're getting. You're not getting like tri-tip or some lesser cut of meat. We're not the cheapest, but I'll tell you one thing: you eat a French dip or you have a piece of our prime rib, it's stunning.
Yeah, and I noticed too. I don't think we'll see it there. We'll turn you around. He was cutting a lot of all that fat off. I didn't show that, but very beautiful piece of meat right there.
Yeah, it's really good stuff.
So, are you going to pass this tradition on to your kids? What do you think?
Well, that's a really good question. I've got a great wife, and she has 2 daughters. You know what the succession is. I've got a great young management team. I plan on doing this for a long time.
You handpick your workers, probably.
Always.
Don't you?
Yeah, I interview every single person as part of our team.
Right. As part of the family. Right?
Yes, absolutely. So it's all about hiring good people. Give me somebody with the right attitude. That transcends whether they can carry a plate or mix a drink or whatever. I want the person that really wants you to feel special. That's something you can't train.
For a waitress or a bartender, what do you look for in hiring? What's the number one quality? Like we got 30 seconds. First question you would ask if you were in the hiring process right now.
You know, the first question I always ask, I want to hear how they talk about their family and friends, believe it or not. I want to find out what their heart's like, because you got to have somebody that's looking at the perspective of I'm concerned about everybody else, not me. And I've worked with bartenders for 30 years. I have staff at the Elbow Room. 20 of the 80 that work with me have been there since day one.
Unbelievable. Mike,
John, thank
sadly
you.
we're out of time.
Hey,
Stick around for a second here.
Great.
Mike Sherinian, thank you for being here, the owner of the Elbow Room. We're back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno. Have a great day.